Is it possible to get PTSD from the profession you choose? This is Christina Williams with Just Criminal Law.
And David Mann, legal storytelling specialist. Well, I'm judging from the amount of trauma people seem to be reporting these days. I'm guessing maybe it is.
Right. I mean, the obvious examples are going to be law enforcement officers, soldiers, maybe like emergency room doctors, people that see really horrific things. But what I've learned is that not only those type of professions, but believe it or not, your judges, prosecutors, and defense attorneys can also get PTSD. Now, it's secondary PTSD, but the symptoms are very similar. They can get secondary PTSD from working with clients and victims in the criminal justice system.
Okay, so secondary PTSD, how does that happen with someone?
Well, for example, with myself, I worked as a prosecutor as a young attorney, and I prosecuted domestic violence cases. And so women were being really severely abused in the hands of, their boyfriend or their husband. And I would just really take it personally, and I would really feel very bad for these victims of these crimes. And I would get all wrapped up in their stories and trying to help them. And I realized I would come home just completely exhausted. And then if they decided they wanted to drop the charges, it really bothered me because I knew they were just going back to a terrible situation that was potentially lethal. And, I carried that weight on my shoulders, and I was always in this fight or flight mode when I was working with them until I understood what was happening, and I was really able to reel it back in and compartmentalize, that's the decisions that they've made, and I can't, change that or make different decisions for them. All I can do is use my knowledge and my resources and meet them where they're at. And so I started doing that as a young prosecutor, and then found myself, even more wrapped up when I was trying to defend people from serious allegations, and I knew what I did would make all the difference in their lives. And so, again, I was back to, carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders.
So, that's quite a bit of, in a way, introspection and just being honest with yourself about what you're feeling in your job, which sounds like you did. Was the process of working through that, how complex was that? How much time did that take?
Well, really, it just came down to I had to almost look at each case and the situation that my client was in very surgically, so to speak. So I reminded myself that I didn't have anything to do with this series of bad decisions or the bad decision that my client inevitably made in order to get in the spot where they were being accused of a crime. And that all I could do was bring all of my background, all of my resources, and all of my team to the table for them and give them the best defense possible, but understanding that at the end of it, they may not be completely happy and I may not be completely happy with the result, but I could try to get a result where we both could live with the outcome. And, anytime I found myself getting wrapped up in really overly concerned, especially when we're in trial, and I know, that if I don't ask the right question or say the right thing, I'm just going to really hash that over if we don't win. I just had to remind myself in those moments, all I can do is ask for clarity, ask for, the ability to recall on my experience and bring that to the table and, put forth 100%, and I have to be able to live with with the outcome, because ultimately I did not make the decision that my client did that put them in the defendant's chair.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people who are not criminal defense attorneys can relate to kind of, you know, taking work home with them. I mean, caring so much about the work and the outcome and the people involved that it becomes sort of, you know, a never-ending source of stress. So it sounds like you handle that really well.
Right. And, I then had to think, okay, how can I help my clients with this? Understanding that, being in the criminal justice system is going to create this post-traumatic stress for them as well. And, when they're getting all wound up and, really they're in this fight or flight mode as well, I have to remind them that they made a very good decision when they hired our firm. Now, they can't go back and relive yesterday and, go back in time and change what they did, but they can move forward and, be present and look to the future. And what we do is just remind them to ground themselves. You did the right thing. You hired us. Trust my team. Trust in the process. Show up. Do what we ask. We give our clients expectations and literally 10 expectations that we have of them when they sign up for us, and just remind them that they said they would do that. And, if they follow the process and buy into it and do what they need to do today, that's going to get us where we need to be so they can get the best outcome possible tomorrow.
It sounds like, I think it's worth mentioning that even though it sounds like what you've done is made your profession more manageable for yourself by saying, I have to distance myself a bit to make sure that I'm not carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. But you also very much still care. That hasn't gone away. You just have put it in a way that's more manageable, right?
Exactly. I mean, I absolutely care. That's part of our culture, and part of being a part of just criminal law with the team is we all really care about the outcomes that our clients get, and we absolutely buy into the truth that what we do makes a difference. And if I can't sleep at night, I can't get up in the morning and fight another fight, so to speak. So I really have to be able to turn it on and off. And that's something that has taken time, but I've really developed that skill set, and it serves me, and it serves my team, and it serves our clients.
That's great. So you offer a lot in the way of professional excellence and also sort of personal guidance with your clients. How might they get in touch with you?
Sure, we'll include a link in the description where they can call, text, or chat with a member of my team anytime, day or night. Here at Just Criminal Law, we know you only get one shot at justice, so make yours count.